going on, guys? It's David Ote, the Chief Content Officer for the PPSC, bringing you the debate that has happened for years and years over what is superior and what is better. What should I go with, the dumbbell or the kettlebell? And especially now when people are looking to outfit home gyms, maybe they're buying some stuff for their houses, maybe your clients are starting a new program, it's January and people want to get fit, get moving, get active, get strong. It's important to know what you're going to decide for what specific tasks and why you're going to choose them for the specific tasks. Now, we can look at it from the baseline and understand that they are all just weight. And that's one important thing to understand and remember. They are all just weight when we come down to this. So when you talk about the differences between other pieces of equipment versus dumbbells and kettlebells, barbells, cables, etc., there's going to be the nuance between what is the subtle difference in how weight is changing within space. The one consistency that we have between any kind of dumbbell and a kettlebell is going to be that the weight is dictated by gravity. Whatever the pressure is, the force that's going to pull down on it is coming directly towards the ground. So no matter how I hold this kettlebell, once I drop it down, it's going to go straight down because that's how gravity works. Where when we're talking about bands, we're talking about cables, wherever the point of contact is or the point of resistance, wherever it's anchored, that's the direction of that vector force line. So for this, we're going to have a consistent vector force line based around the option of dumbbell or kettlebell. Great. The other subtle difference between dumbbells and kettlebells, if you're in the United States, one's going to be listed as pounds, one's going to be listed as kilograms. A lot of American kettlebells will be also listed with pounds as well. You can even see that with this RKC, we only have it listed with the kilograms. So I know that nobody told you you're going to have to do math in this section of the day, but it's going to be 2.2 pounds per kilogram. So if you want to roughly round it up to 2 times, that'll give you the easiest depiction of what it's going to be, specifically when we're adding weight into a new program for somebody, and especially the clients who want to know how much weight am I lifting. Now, if we're talking about true strength training, where we're going from that, here's the subtle differences we have between dumbbells and kettlebells. Let's go through the basic thing of this. Kettlebells are a little more powerful and ballistic by nature because of design. Because of the handle and the way it allows it to swing through this, it gives you more options to bring yourself up through it. Not saying you can't do these options with something like a dumbbell. It's a lot easier and a lot smoother when you transition with the kettlebell versus that type of setup, okay? This means that depending on where the base of the bell is going to be, that's where the force is going to dictate its change in pressure, which makes a kettlebell press that much different versus a dumbbell press. And even dumbbell presses aren't all measured the same when you're considering how the weight is distributed. So I'm going to explain that part now. So for example, say we're talking about doing a shoulder press with this kettlebell, for instance, right? We have this kettlebell here. There's a difference, but based on where the base of the bell is going to alter where the pressure of the force is moving towards. So a traditional kettlebell press is going to have us here resting the bell on the back of the arm. When it's on the back of the hand, the weight is pulling behind the limb, so it actually wants to externally rotate you. It's like you're in the middle of an arm wrestling match. It wants to pull you away, so you need to actually stay stable here to press up while the weight is torquing backwards on that arm. That's going to change the way that the shoulder press acts because the kettlebell is oriented in a different way. The only way you're going to truly get vertical pressure down is by going into a more difficult option, which is a bottoms up press. This way the bell's going directly down, but I need to grip the hell out of this to make sure that when I press this up, that it remains vertical for myself. So we're adding the element of grip, and we're changing the way that the bell is going to press down into the arm. It changes the mechanics of the move, and trust me, as you get heavier through kilograms, as you get a bigger bell, you're going to feel the differences, not from a subtlety standpoint, but from a very loud and alarming way. You're going to understand it and see it very quickly, okay? So from there, we're talking about the differences in a press. Pulling, we're going to have the base of the bell is generally going to be on the lower end. The thickness of the handle with a kettlebell is usually a little bit thicker. As you get to the heavier weights, you're going to see thicker handles. Specifically with dumbbells, depending on the make, usually it's a standardized setup. So for example, we'll have loadable dumbbells here, where it's a standardized knurled handle that you'll have here. These are loadable Olympic dumbbells that you can find in a lot of places. If you need an option for yourself to utilize the weights that are already available to you, you don't have money to shell out for a new set of adjustable dumbbells, that's understandable. You can find a nice pair of Olympic adjustable dumbbells at a reasonable price. And then you have something like this that's an adjustable dumbbell that really will upgrade what you're doing. And this is where we're talking about the difference in subtlety between these two options. What you need to pay attention to when we talk about the adjustable dumbbell versus the adjustable dumbbell is the two of these have different loading mechanisms. So for example, not looking at the basic end of, hey, this one's larger, this one's smaller, this one's thinner, this one's more compact, etc. The way the weight is loaded is the weight is loaded from side to side. So this is more like a traditional dumbbell from what you would have. So if I was lifting weights in the gym, you're going to end up having it on one side of the hand and the opposite side of the hand. So most of this pressure is in and out from here, and less side to side. I can roll my wrist as much as possible. It doesn't affect the weight. So when I'm curling, if I turn it, it's going to bring in a higher torque pattern there, versus hammer curls, where it's also going to be working in the direction that the weights are sitting. Now when you have something like this, so this is a Power Block Pro adjustable dumbbell. Bowflex makes dumbbells. They're adjustable that are more set up like these Olympic adjustables. But with a Power Block, you're having more of a center mass effect. What I mean by that is, you can see that the way it's structured is the handle's going to be in the middle of it, so the weight's going to surround your entire hand. Sorinex also has something called center mass bells. And this means that the weight isn't just distributed from side to side, but it goes around the arm. So you're going to have more distribution through here and here as well that you don't see within the Olympic adjustable dumbbell. So that tiny subtlety is going to make a big difference for this, okay? Then we start about talking to not just the mechanism of weight and how it affects you in a programming, but then you look at, okay, what's the right option for me to add into my programming now? Maybe I'm starting a home gym, maybe I'm opening a facility. Where do I start? Or if I have clients that are looking for information. Say I have a client that wants to start to buy stuff. They don't have a whole bunch of money to the side. They're spending a lot of money on you to come to the house. What do I suggest for them to use first? Okay? This is the obvious one you would want to lean to. Adjustable dumbbells would be the obvious answer that you'd want to lean to because it allows you to have a lot of things available for yourself. Now, when you look at the cost of adjustable dumbbells and really how available they are right now, if you're not on the internet trying to find them and the one-day window that they actually are in stock, you're going to have a hard time finding brand new dumbbells, especially power blocks. So that's going to be a more difficult option to be able to get into, okay? The second one is going to be these adjustable dumbbells, okay? I would say these adjustable dumbbells are a great option, except then you also have to hope that somebody has the plates available for themselves. They have to have really solid collars. So what you'll see for this is I'll have Lockjaw Pros on the ends of these because the last thing you want to do is go through a weighted movement and have this slide off in the middle of it. That's going to immediately diminish somebody's security and safety when they're talking about using these dumbbells. So you're going to have to then weigh in the fact that I need plates, I need the proper collars on the end. I need to get myself into a better position to use these. The option that I would go with is finding someone with a pair of kettlebells or getting two different size single kettlebells. The reason being is it's going to be able to apply to a lot of different things that you wouldn't be able to do with just a dumbbell set. You can use this for your strength training. You can use this for your ballistic options. Like I said, if you're going into more kettlebell swings, you can go into snatches if somebody's progressed to that level. You can do front-loaded squats, especially someone starting out. Goblet squats are perfectly made to be used with kettlebells. There's so many options that are available with just this weight. This is when you'd have to scheme into things such as complexes, and a complex is using one piece of equipment at the same weight for multiple exercises, so it's a circuit with the same piece of equipment at the same weight. This way you don't have to worry about reloading things or trying to put them into a different scheme for yourself. But what I would suggest is finding some nice kettlebells that you can use from here. I want to give you guys one last piece of advice when it comes to this type of equipment, okay? Weight is weight. So when we come down to using these things, it is nice to understand that I have the newest, Cerakote. It's nice to know that I have the newest type of setup specifically for a piece of equipment. Whether it is these iron grips that are polyurethane or they're urethane coated, or I have something that has a powder coat that's beautiful on these dumbbells and they're American made, and that's all great. And I think it's important to use money in that way when it gets down to that point. But when it comes to working out, your body's not going to know whether something is brand new or not. Your body's not going to know whether it was manufactured in the US or not. Your body's going to know whether you're pushing yourself or not. So don't worry about trying to find the newest piece of equipment available. While something like a Power Block Pro is something I would highly suggest if you have the money available to it and you can get it on your hands, what I would say is try and look through yard sales, Facebook Market, local areas. Go and find out if there are people that have extra plates and equipment available. I think there's one beautiful thing about the fitness community is we are very tight-knit and we're willing to help each other. There's no hoarding mechanism to say that I have all this kind of stuff. And the last piece is when we're going through the dumbbell versus kettlebell, know that gym equipment is like tools and they're slowly acquired over time. So don't worry about outfitting your place with everything at once and dropping $15,000 for the ultimate home gym. Take these things little by little and make sure you can go on that. But it's important to go over the difference between the kettlebell and the dumbbell and the dumbbell so you know the differences in the weight, in the mechanism, in how it pulls, and how it utilizes itself. They're all going to have their own way of being better and more beneficial. It's just a matter of how it works into your specific program. So to recap, we're going to have line of pull differences between the dumbbell and the kettlebell. We're going to have ballistic tendencies between the two. While you can do cleans and snatches and all that with dumbbells, it's a little more seamless and clean when it comes to kettlebells. Dumbbells give you a lot more variety for strength-based capacity because of the torque mechanism of the kettlebell. It's going to get difficult at a certain point in time. Using heavy dumbbells, you can squat with a lot more weight versus using kettlebells just based on where it has to be racked, where it has to sit, and how you have to load it. So from that scheme, you want to find out how these best operate within your program. But in the end of the day, find what works best. The kettlebell is going to have a small advantage when it comes to starting off, beginning, getting something with one piece of equipment. But again, ultimately you want to try and find ways to get all these into your program. Find what your client's most comfortable with, find out what you're most comfortable with, and go from there. Okay? Any questions, comment on this, add us, tag us, shoot us a DM at GetPPSC on Instagram. We are on Facebook, and we're happy to answer your questions. So, kettlebell, dumbbell, why don't you guys let us know what you think?